Hey everybody, it's Johnny Two-Face here, back with another reaction video. This time I'm reacting to Napoleon's first victory, Siege of Toulon, 1793. Now, I don't know if I pronounced Toulon correctly, so let me know if I haven't. I thought I'd react to some more epic history, because they're quite interesting videos, and I thought they'd be quite good videos to react to, as long as it's still alright with epic history. I've already reacted to their series about, if you look at my channel, I've already reacted to their set of videos about World War One, and I think I can't remember now, I'll have to look again. I did react to their series of Alexander the Great, which is and both series are very interesting, and I thought I'd do Napoleon's the siege about the Napoleonic Wars, because I admit very few things I know about Napoleon Bonaparte. God, I sound really posh in part. Sorry, I'm mumbling. One of the few things I know about Napoleon Bonaparte is about the Battle of Waterloo, which because I've watched the film, and I think it's the film called Waterloo is based on the Battle of Waterloo, which is a brilliant film, and it's based on the actual Battle of Waterloo. And apparently there's another channel you should check out called History Buffs, which he looks at where the host looks at historic movies, and his reviews are based on how historically accurate they are. And it's quite interesting to see that, and from his own words, where the film Waterloo goes on is exactly how the battle played out. I admit there's a few discrepancies, but they're so minor that they're not worth worrying about. But the other few very little details I know about Napoleon was I think he was born in Corsica, which if you don't know is an island off the southern coast of France, if I believe. Someone might have to correct me on that, because I think it's off the south coast of France, Corsica, and I don't know much about his earlier career, apart from little snippets I heard, he used cannon fire in the streets of Paris, during the extremists against the extremists of the revolution in the streets of Paris, used cannon with grape shot, which is basically, to make it simple for you, it's like a giant shotgun shell. Basically, it's like a cannon canister full of little pellets. But anyway, I'm going on too long. So, as usual, the link to the original video will be in the description down below. Please go check out Epic History TV, and they do some amazing historical combat. And as I also said, was if you want to know if you're interested in how historically accurate films based on history are, go check out History Bus as well. Anyway, as I said, the link to the original video will be in the description down below. Let's get into this. And
an Epic History TV History March collaboration, supported by our sponsor, Osprey Publishing.
It'll be interesting to see how much I can learn about the earlier parts of Napoleon's career. I was in Toulon where my reputation began.
In the summer of 1793, the French Revolution was entering its 4th year, and France was on the verge of anarchy.
Well,
in Paris, political extremists had seized control of the revolution.
Wasn't that the Jacobins club?
They guillotined the king and
Louis
imposed
XVI,
a reign of terror that dealt summary justice to all suspected enemies of the revolution. Hoping to unify the new republic, France's leaders had declared war on the Habsburg Empire.
Is it still that much of a controversial subject in France about the revolution? How it got taken over by, what's his name, Robespierre? I'm not entirely sure, but I believe it was him and the Jacobin Club were like the extremists of the revolution who even though they probably got the equality that the French people wanted at the time, but I think some people reckon they went a bit too far, but I don't know. That's one of the few things in history that I'm not very clued up about. So feel free to let me know if the French Revolution is still a controversial subject in France. Sorry for the rambling.
But the conflict quickly widened, and
Prussia,
soon France was
Habsburg.
facing the combined might of Europe's leading powers, determined to stamp out her.
Sorry to stop again, but I just noticed that, of course, there was a weird fact that I uncovered that the USA, as it is now, is older than Germany. And now, at first I was confused by the fact, but then you can see why. Like, if you can see my mouse, Prussia, Saxony, Bavaria, and all this up here. It's hard to. It's odd that it's very rare you see Germany as this state, but I suppose it's before it became a unified Germany, like so many other countries. I could be wrong, but feel free to let me know.
Dangerous political experiment.
Oh wow! Spain.
Meanwhile, whole regions of France
Wow.
had come out in open revolt, horrified by the new extremism of the revolution.
The Jacobins.
In August,
From what I've heard.
the Republic suffered a further, potentially fatal blow when the city of Toulon joined the revolt.
So I did pronounce it properly.
Toulon was France's largest and most important naval base in the south,
Wow.
home to a third of the entire French Navy.
Okay.
But now,
That's quite
rebels
size.
welcomed their old enemy, the British Royal Navy, into the port,
Wow, I did not know
led by
that.
Admiral Lord Hood, aboard HMS Victory.
Whoa, I didn't know
It was
HMS
an
Victory went that far
extraordinary coup.
south.
Without a shot being fired, the Allies had crippled French naval power in the Mediterranean and gained a vital toehold on the French coast. All French forces in the area were immediately diverted to face
Wow.
this new threat and lay siege to the
It's the
rebel
first time
fort.
I've seen the Swiss as
19,000 troops
non-neutral.
in all. But since most French officers had been aristocrats who were now fleeing the revolution in large numbers, they were seriously short of professional leadership.
Wow.
Their commander, General Jean-François Carteau, was a loyal Republican, but a
Wow.
court painter by trade with no military
Okay.
training. To make matters worse, one of his few professional officers, his artillery commander, Colonel Dommartin, had been badly wounded on the approach to Toulon.
Okay.
Antoine Salicetti, a Corsican deputy of the National Convention in Paris, recommended as his replacement a fellow countryman, a 24-year-old artillery officer who
so
was
he was
passing
24 when he
Toulon
started.
en route
That's
to
it.
the front, named Napoleon Bonaparte, or Bonaparte. Bonaparte was a professional soldier, but he'd seen almost no active service.
Wow.
Nevertheless, Salicetti was impressed by his manner, and most of all, his politics. Bonaparte had just written a political pamphlet, a short story about a young artillery officer who berates his fellow diners for their disloyalty to the Republic. General Carteau thought it wise
quite
to
young to
accept
start,
Deputy
24.
Salicetti's recommendation.
One can remain 24 if necessary, 36 hours without eating, but one cannot for only 3 minutes without gunpowder. Good philosophy.
The great port of Toulon was well defended by city walls and a dozen outlying forts and redoubts. They were held by 2,000 British soldiers and sailors, 6,000 Spanish troops, 6,000 Neapolitans, and 800 Sardinians.
Wow.
Artillery would be the key to
I don't know
overcoming
why I
these
thought
formidable
Swiss.
defences. But when Bonaparte was put in command of the artillery on the 16th of September, he found himself with few cannon not enough trained gun crews, and a shortage of gunpowder and shot. With relentless energy and determination, Bonaparte transformed the situation, requisitioning unused guns, training infantrymen to work them, setting up a new forge and workshop, and arranging transport from Marseille of 100,000 sandbags for constructing new batteries. Through hard...
So basically this is the start of his military genius, because there's no denying it, and I know people saying it's surprising hearing that from someone who's British, but it is amazing how much of a military genius, and at the age of 24, this is going to be an interesting one.
He was ultimately able to build his force up to 64 officers and 1,500 men, manning 100 cannon, howitzers and mortars.
Wow.
Within days, Bonaparte had established 2 new forward batteries with good revolutionary names, La Montagne and Sans Culottes, which brought Toulon's inner harbour within range, and forced Admiral Hood to move all his ships closer to the port. Bonaparte also came up with a plan,
trying to keep out of reach of the cannons,
that would allow the French to bypass most of Toulon's defences and secure the rapid victory the Republic so desperately needed. Bonaparte argued that if Fort L'Aiguillette could be captured, which looked out across the harbour, he could fill it with heavy guns and shell the British and Spanish fleet at anchor. Admiral Hood would be forced to abandon the port and take with him the Allied soldiers that Toulon relied on for its defence. General Carteau saw the merits of Bonaparte's plan, and on the 22nd of September, French forces attacked Montcaire. But to Bonaparte's exasperation, while he'd argued for an attack by 3,000 men, the indecisive Carteau committed only 400.
Oh dear.
Not only was the attack easily repulsed, but it alerted the Allies to the danger. Within 48 hours they'd reinforced Montcaire with thousands more troops and built a new fort named Fort Mulgrave, bristling with 20 cannon. The position was now so strong, the French nicknamed it Little Gibraltar.
There's only one possible plan, Bonaparte's. De Gaumier.
Finally, in mid-November, an experienced professional soldier arrived to take command of French forces, General de Gaumier. He saw at once that Bonaparte's plan was the only way to take Toulon, and gave it his full backing.
Okay.
Bonaparte, promoted to major, got to work, overseeing construction of several more batteries in preparation for the decisive assault.
Wow.
One forward battery was so exposed to enemy fire that men refused to be sent there. So Bonaparte renamed it La Batterie des Hommes Sans Peur, the battery of men without fear.
Okay.
Suddenly, there was no shortage of volunteers.
Wow.
It was an early display of Napoleon's
good
genius
way to
for
bring the
inspiring
morale
his
up.
soldiers. One that would serve him well in the years ahead.
I imagine it did.
On the 30th of November, the Allied Land Forces commander, British General Charles O'Hara, tried to seize back the initiative, leading an assault on the new French batteries facing Fort Malbousquet. At first, the attack was successful.
Wow.
The batteries were overrun, the French guns spiked. But a counterattack with much greater numbers,
he's heavily outnumbered,
and led in person by General de Gaumier and Major Bonaparte, drove back the Allies. General O'Hara himself was shot through the hand and captured. 12 years before, he'd surrendered to George Washington at Yorktown during the American War of Independence. Now he got to surrender to Napoleon Bonaparte.
Oh dear. That's probably more embarrassing for him than surrendering to Washington. Because it's still at a time where,
In the early hours of the 18th of December,
again, British and French are still at each other's necks.
Driving rain, the French launched a major assault on Fort Mulgrave. The wet conditions made muskets useless, except as clubs or with bayonets.
Yeah, I was about to say, or fixed bayonets.
Bonaparte led the second wave in person. Amid fierce hand-to-hand fighting, his horse was killed under him, and he was bayoneted in the thigh by a British sergeant, a wound that came within inches of ending his life and radically changing the course of history.
Wow.
Finally, the Allied garrison was overwhelmed, and Mulgrave fell to the French. Fort L'Aiguillette and Tour de la Balaquière were soon also in French hands.
Wow.
By the following afternoon, the French had 10 heavy guns in L'Aiguillette, placing the Allied ships within range. Admiral Hood could not expose his valuable ships of the line to such a threat. He had no option but to order an immediate evacuation of the fleet and garrison from Toulon.
Wow.
Small Spanish and British teams raced to destroy all the French ships and naval stores that they couldn't take with them. But amid the chaos of their departure, 18 ships of the line were allowed to fall back into French hands.
A messy retreat there.
A badly missed opportunity. Many French citizens of Toulon were desperate to escape aboard the Allied ships, knowing that the Republicans would inflict terrible reprisals on the city. British and Spanish ships took as many as they could, about 14,000 in all, but scores were drowned amid chaotic and desperate scenes.
Wow.
Others were left to face the wrath of the revolution. Republican troops entered the city the next morning, and executions and firing squads began almost immediately.
Wow.
For the next 2 weeks, about 200 were executed every day.
Wow.
Allied propaganda later blamed Bonaparte for the atrocities, but there's no evidence he was directly involved.
But still, it's a bit extreme though, murdering everyone in sight. But then, what do I know? It's still going to be seen as a
France's
genocide.
young republic
by
was
the
now fighting
Allies.
back on all fronts.
But that's
With the
how
fall
I
of
see it.
Toulon,
Please don't
the
judge me.
Allies had lost a golden opportunity, a chance to stir up further revolt, deal a lasting blow to French naval power, perhaps even overturn the revolution. But instead, the French Republic had weathered one of its greatest storms, in no small part thanks to the remarkable judgment, energy and courage of one 24-year-old artillery officer, now promoted Brigadier General in recognition of his extraordinary service.
Wow, that's one hell of a promotion leap.
Napoleon
Is it a big
Bonaparte
promotion leap?
had taken his first step on the path to greatness.
Wow.
And for Europe, 21 years of almost constant war awaited.
Okay.
Our sponsor, Osprey Publishing, has nearly 200 titles on the Napoleonic Wars alone, written by specialist historians and covering everything from the history of elite units to tactics, weapons and uniforms.
Wow.
Visit their website to find out more. Thanks to all the brilliant Epic History TV.
And that'll do it. This was an interesting video. As I said, I'm not very clued up about Napoleon Bonaparte, and it's been a long time since I learned about any history regarding France, and it's quite interesting to see like how his military genius came into effect from the very beginning. And as I said, it's like, because as it said in the beginning, it's still like on the, I would say towards the back end of the revolution, like, you know, so So it's like early years of being France being a republic. So it's an interesting video. So I'll probably do this as a series to react to, and I'll try and do my best to keep them in order. And even though I've looked through their channel and saw like the Battle of Waterloo was one of their earlier videos before they'd done the whole series about Napoleon, but I'll do a reaction to the Battle of Waterloo last, after all the other videos on the Napoleonic War. So, as I said, go and check out Epic History, and if you like this if you enjoy this reaction, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next.